Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire and Smoke Briefing for Monday, September 17th, 2025. Prescribed fire activity continues in Utah with very little wildfire activity. Recent precipitation is shown here. This image on the left shows the last 7 days, which doesn't include the precipitation from yesterday, but we can see precip has increased over southern Nevada with some local flooding here and there. Not as bad as what they saw in California, however, with much heavier precipitation there. The last 14 days percent of normal shown here on the right. Again, not accounting for the precip we saw yesterday, which did fill in across parts of Utah, but definitely seeing an improvement to those dry conditions. Snow fall for the past 72 hours is shown here on the left. Again, seeing some decent snow totals over the southern Utah mountains and then up into northern Utah and the southern parts of the Bridger Teton as well, with these lighter shades of orange coming in at about 8 to 12 inches of snow. So definitely a good trend there. Overall, snow depth still remains pretty light for the time of year. Not a whole lot of snow in the central Idaho mountains. Again, the recent snow bringing some snow totals up a bit there, especially over southern Wyoming and into northern Utah. Late imagery is showing a continuation of the active weather pattern, at least for through midweek. Here over western Wyoming, we have that exiting low pressure system bringing some showers to the north up there. And then we have another low area of low pressure developing off the California coast, moving inland, bringing another shot of precipitation in the next couple of days. So again, for today, we've got the low exiting off to the east and another low moving into California. Ventilation rates are pretty high today, especially over Utah and Nevada, maybe a little bit lower over Idaho. Transport winds show some gustier conditions there over southern Nevada and in southwest Wyoming. Otherwise, lighter winds across parts of the central Great Basin. Mixing heights are pretty high across much of the area as well. Precipitation for today is shown here on the left. Again, precipitation continuing over western Wyoming as that low exits the area, and then the next low moving into California today, bringing another round of showers to much of California and then into western and southwest Nevada as well. The Arizona Strip will also see some precip in far southwest Utah with some drier conditions across the central parts of the Great Basin. Temperatures have come down over the weekend and remain cool today with highs mostly in the 50s. On Tuesday, that low continues to push south into southern California, drawing moisture further up into the southern Great Basin. Ventilation rates decrease a bit on Tuesday. Lighter winds are in place across much of the area on Tuesday as that low continues to move a little bit further south and east. And mixing heights are kind of a mixed bag. We'll see some higher values across central Nevada and parts of western Utah, but some lower values here and there as well. Precipitation expected for Tuesday will be mostly focused over the southern Great Basin, southern Nevada, and southern Utah on the Arizona Strip. We could even see some pretty high local values there with overall totals around maybe an inch or so in these blues, with some drier conditions across the north. Temperature still remaining on the cooler side with highs in the 50s. On Wednesday, that low continues to be in place over the southern Great Basin. Ventilation rates decreasing quite a bit on Wednesday. Very light winds overall across the Great Basin on Wednesday, except for maybe some breezy conditions there in western Wyoming. And overall mixing heights will be decreasing, especially across Idaho and parts of western Nevada. Limited precipitation is expected on Wednesday. We could see some showers across parts of northern Utah and maybe up into southeast Idaho and western Wyoming, but Nevada really starts to dry out, and maximum temperature still remaining in the 50s. The overall 3-day precipitation totals are shown here. Again, today the precip will be across the north anyway. The precipitation will be occurring today, but then we'll see some heavier precipitation moving into the southern Great Basin once again beginning tomorrow. The clearing index for Utah is shown here for the next couple of days. Pretty decent values across the west deserts today and the lower elevations of eastern Utah. Those values decrease a bit tomorrow and then pop up again once again on Wednesday. On Thursday, another trough looks to move into the western part of the U.S. Maybe not quite as much precipitation with this one. Ventilation rates still staying on the lower side across the north and maybe increasing a bit over the southern Great Basin. On Friday, that low continues to track a little bit further south and eastward. I think the overall precipitation will decrease quite a bit Thursday and into Friday and for the remainder of the rest of the work week. Ventilation rates decreasing or continuing to decrease across the north. On Saturday, the low continues to push further south and eastward across the southwest U.S. With some drier air in place across the central parts of the Great Basin. We could see some precipitation picking up again over the central Idaho mountains on Saturday. Ventilation rates are generally pretty poor across much of the Great Basin. On Sunday, much of the same is expected. That low continues to move slowly eastward across the southwest with drier conditions across the central portions of the Great Basin, and then maybe some continued showers over the central Idaho mountains. Ventilation rates still staying on the lower side across mainly the central part of the Great Basin. The 7-day precip totals largely reflect the precipitation we're expecting in the next couple of days, especially with this precipitation coming to the south starting later today into tomorrow. But the precipitation over here over the central Idaho mountains we're more expecting that into the weekend. The snowfall forecast for this next 7 days shows another decent round of snow coming to the southern Utah mountains with some lighter amounts over northern Utah and into western Wyoming. Central Idaho mountains aren't going to see a whole lot in the next week, and then we'll see some decent amounts along the Sierra Front as well. The extended outlook for November 24th through the 30th keeps temperatures cool across the western U.S. with above normal chances for precipitation as well. This concludes today's briefing. Please check back on Wednesday for the latest updates.